Hello, this is solving system of equations, inequalities, single inequalities, example 6. And this is a story problem. It talks about you having two summer jobs at a youth center. You earn $8 an hour teaching basketball, $10 an hour teaching swimming. And it tells us let x represent the time that you spend teaching basketball, the number of hours, and y represent the amount of hours you spend teaching swimming, and it says your goal is to earn $200 per week. And we have to write an inequality that describes this. Writing it out in your own words always helps your thoughts come together. And I've done this, of course. $8 an hour for basketball, and the hours is x. Now, if you work 1 hour, you'd get $8. 2 hours, 16. 3 hours, 24, and so forth. Same thing with the swimming. 1 hour, 10. 2 hours, 20. 3 hours, 30, and so forth. It's a reoccurring theme. We've seen it in many of our story problems with our soccer balls and our soccer bags. We did that, multiplying the number of balls times the cost and so forth. We did that with when we did a story problem involving renting inline skates and bicycles. It was the number of bicycles times their cost, number of inline skates times their cost. So that's one thing we're definitely going to have to do. The goal is $200. So I've multiplied this, 8 times x, 10 times y, added them up because that's how much money you make during the week. And here's the goal, $200. So you look at what you have here. This is the amount of money that you make during the week. This is the 200. It's this that the person wanted to be greater than the $200. So I'm going to fill that in. Greater than $200. And whenever you write these down, you should wonder, is it really greater than, or is it greater than or equal to? And it depends on what the question says. The question says your goal is to earn at least $200 per week. At least. So if you earned $200, the way it's stated here, you met the goal. If it said your goal is to earn more than $200 per week, then that would not be correct. It would just be plain old greater than. So our next task is to graph this inequality. And we've been graphing these inequalities. The first thing to do is to graph the line. 8x plus 10y equals 200. So to graph this line, well, first of all, I'm not going to work with this equation because each one of these is divisible by 2. So it's like reducing to lowest terms. 4x plus 5y equals 100. When you're working with smaller numbers, it makes it a little easier. Plenty of techniques for graphing straight lines. We covered them in another chapter. I could change this around and make it into slope-intercept form. That's usually pretty easy, but I think I'm going to try this. What if x equals 0? If x equals 0, I'm left with 5y equals 100. So 5 times some number is 100, and it's 5 times 20, that's 100. So if x equals 0, y equals 20. Taking a similar thing, what if y equals 0? If y equals 0, I'm going to have 4x equals 100. That's 4 times some number is 100, and it's 4 times 25, that's 100. So, using x equals 0, y equals 20, and y equals 0, x equals 25, I can graph the line, and then I can graph the inequality. This is the line. When y equals 0, x is 25. When x is 0, y is 20. I've got the swimming up here, which is y, the basketball down here, which is x. I didn't let the graph go down here because that would mean you worked a negative number of swimming hours, and that's impossible. Same thing with the basketball. You can't work a negative number of hours. So figuring out which half to shade was really not hard. Down here represents places where you do not meet your goal. At 0, 0, you would have worked 0 swimming, 0 basketball, so that does not meet your goal. It's the points on the red line that exactly meet your goal, and anything in the shaded area is going to exceed your goal. So we need the last graphing was our second task. The third task is give 3 possible combinations of hours that will allow you to meet your goal. Well, we already figured out 2. You could work no basketball and 20 hours swimming. 20 times 10 would be the 200. You could work no hours swimming and 25 hours basketball. 25 times 8 would be the $200 goal, and you would meet that. So picking a third possibility, I'll pick this point. That's you work 20 hours basketball, and at $8, that's $160. 10 hours swimming, that's 10 times 10 is 100, so there you would make $260. That would be well within your goal. The further you go in here, the more money you would have made, because you exceed your goal by more and more as you move away from this line.